What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Locked In Sports Podcast. I'm William Locke, and joining me this week, as always, is Luis Barranco. Different shirt this week. I'm proud of you. How you doing? Turtleneck? Is that a little turtleneck?
Turtleneck action. Yeah, I had to. I mean, I almost got shit on for the Chief shirt. I got crapped on for the whatchamacallit, the tie-dye. I actually texted William before, and I was like, "Oh, give me like an extra minute or two. I got to go switch shirts." Because I know the listeners are probably tired of seeing the same tie-dye shirt, and it's actually breaking. So we don't want it to like break on stream,
I did notice that. It did look a little loose in the collar, which is always rough when that happens to your shirts. I don't like that.
I mean, it is what it is, but it's Sunday night. It's what time is it? It's 7:01. We're on time today.
On time, punctual. 7 p.m. Central, or 7 p.m. Eastern Sunday nights.
Hey, 7 p.m. Sunday nights. I mean, Sunday night baseball's about to start. We just had the Mexico game just end, which I mean was interesting. But yeah, it was been a good week. How's your week been? I almost ended up at the Nats series this weekend here, the Miami Marlins Nats game, but I decided to sleep in and not waste my hours of the day in the precious sunlight of the city that it presents to me.
That was the weekend series, Miami versus Washington. I mean, you could have saw. Well, I don't want to bring it up. It's a little bit of a sore subject right now, but CJ Abrams.
I mean, it is what it is.
Made a big trade, made a big acquisition this week. Fantasy team. There seems to be some I don't know, dissent. I mean, people didn't like the move.
I don't know. I'm just really loving how the turtleneck looks on me right now.
Like, it does look good. You do look sharp. I'm not gonna lie. I'm wearing.
I'm not even trying to look sharp. I'm not even trying to look
underdressed.
Yeah. How's your weekend? How's the weather up in Chicago?
I mean, weather was great. 70s. Busy weekend with Kayla's graduation. Wanted to get up to Milwaukee to go see the Yankees, but didn't end up. I could have gone today, decided not to. So I guess I didn't really want to badly enough because the Yankees will be here in Chicago playing the Sox and then the Cubs later in the year. So I'll be going to those games. But weekend was good. Long night. I mean, I was making fantasy baseball acquisitions at midnight, about 12:30 yesterday when you were still awake as well. You were making some acquisitions.
It was the weirdest thing because I'm out at a festival last night, and we're figuring out like what our next plans are. I'm with some friends of mine. We're figuring out what we're doing. It was like a block party. It was like 70 degrees, windy, beautiful night. Had live music and everything. It was really nice. And so we're out, and I'm picking up my phone, and boom, I get a notification. I'm like, who's giving me a notification at like 1 a.m. in the morning? Like, I am not that important. Like, something must be going up in the world. And there, lo and behold, we have Ozuna from the Braves. I think you dropped. Who did you drop at 12?
So the story was the Mets versus I can't remember who they were playing. Who are they playing?
The Cardinals this weekend because
the Cardinals.
They hit Vientos hit a walk-off today.
Yeah, so it was Mets Cards. They had it on the replay of the game, and JD Martinez was hitting. I was like, "Oh yeah, JD Martinez is back. He's with the team now." And I was like, "That'd be a pretty good fantasy baseball acquisition." The guy hit like 20-something home runs last year, so made the pickup. I had to, it's just dedication to the craft. I'm always looking to, scout that waiver wire because my team is not good so far this season. I need to pick up some ground. So I got JD Martinez. I can't remember who I dropped in the corresponding move. Who got DFA'd?
You're saying that while my team has gone ice cold at the plate. I think my team is hitting equivalent to the Detroit Tigers right now. But
I dropped Heston Kjerstad. Picked him up as a nice because he got called up to Baltimore. Yeah. Austin Hayes got hurt, and he just isn't getting the playing time, unfortunately.
Well, for them. ESPN also has the dumb laws where they don't give positionality. They gave him DH positionality, which means you only play them at the utility. And, I saw that move at 1:30 in the morning. My hands were free. And I was like, you know what? Might as well just join the action at 1:30 in the morning and make a move just for shits and giggles. And I picked up Mark Canha, who's actually been hitting pretty well this week. So, yeah, I decided just to join on the action. I'm like, might as well. Let's just wake up all of our fantasy members at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Hey, Mark Canha, last 7 days, 435 average with 2 home runs.
We'll talk about him later.
Okay. All right.
I have a tease, but regardless, good week for you in Chicago. I decided to just same thing, same old thing for me. Nats were in town this weekend, and who did Miami play at the front end?
They got swept-arenoed. I think it was my Atlanta.
Yeah, they got swept arena by Atlanta. Max Fried went nuclear on them, complete game shutout. And,
Yes, it was my. It was
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, they Atlanta. They played Atlanta in Atlanta, and then they played the Nationals. And then tickets were really cheap. Me and my barber were talking about tickets the other week when I got my haircut, and he was like, "Yeah, you can get tickets for like $20 behind home plate." And I was like, "Oh shit!" Like,
Sounds like Oakland. A rare 4-game set that concludes on Monday. The Nationals have won the first 3 games of the series. We don't need to talk too much about the Marlins, but this is gonna be a fun pod.
We're going to talk about both teams because I feel like there's a lot of big things we could see about both teams this week. I mean, I actually tuned into this series. No disrespect, but they're very boring games. The Nationals are very boring telecasts. I can't. If it's not a badly televised game or Yes Network or Nesson, or NBC Sports, I just can't. Like Masson and Marquee are probably some of the worst telecast sponsors, telecast broadcasters in the league.
I'm not a huge Marquee guy. I am also just not a fan of the fact that they blocked all of the Chicago residents from watching. You have to pay like $20 a month to watch Marquee, to watch the Cubs games, which is just absurd. You can get MLB TV for first of all, T-Mobile members, if you have like a certain subscription, you get free MLB TV for the entire season, which is crazy. I'm not sitting here. Who in the world is out here sitting here paying $20 a month to watch the Cubs play? That is ridiculous. That's like a little under $1 per game to watch the Cubs on TV.
Well, that's a good opener. I mean, this wasn't on the podcast schedule, but might as well just talk about it. We're talking about broadcasting, but that's probably what the future is going to be. Like,
Totally.
I don't know if you've heard, but with all the cord cutting going on and everything going on, whatchamacallit, I just forgot. Oh, yeah. Peacock is not going to be televising Sunday morning baseball. And ESPN decided to drop baseball off their schedule, which I don't know why, because then what are we going to be watching on Sunday nights in the summer? Like, what is ESPN going to slap up at 7 p.m. on like
pickleball
a June Sunday? Like,
they're going to be showing pickleball.
Yeah, that's just nuts. But supposedly the rumor is, I don't know, somebody's like came up with a theory that they think Apple TV is just going to take over the rights and they're just going to do the whole sweep and just do something like MLS.
Oh no! I mean, that's not going well for MLS, and they have Lionel Messi.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like baseball is a bigger game and it has much more fan base. But I feel like that's what we're going to end up going to. That you pay a certain amount of money to watch a team. For example, you have like tiered plans, like telephone plans back in the day.
Yeah.
And you'll pay, you can pay $9 to watch all the games, all your hometown games, or just all the national games. And then you pay an extra $10 to watch your hometown or whatever. And then the .TV becomes Apple TV. Like .TV.
Yeah. Did you also see that the NBA is nearing an agreement with Amazon Prime for broadcasting rights because their rights are up this year? I mean,
well, that's what's gonna end up happening. I mean, you're saying like, oh, who would pay $10? Don't we already do that? Or $20 for Marquee? Don't we already do that with Netflix? Like, to be honest,
I mean, yeah, but that's not live sports.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing, like Netflix and all that. I know it's not live sports, but it's the same content. You're paying for content.
Yeah, and I guess
it's a different type of
my thing is like Apple TV Plus. If you buy your Apple TV Plus subscription, your however much it costs, $15 a month, I think you should have access, and you should have access to like the MLS season pass. If I buy an Apple TV Plus subscription, I should have access to the MLB content if they were to, get a deal done. If like one thing I don't like about ESPN Plus is, and I'm not a UFC guy, but if you're a UFC fan, yes, you can have an ESPN Plus subscription, but then on top of that, you have to purchase the fights every single weekend. There's a it's not every single weekend, but
it's not every, it's the big ones. So since me and my boys, we watch UFC, we just watch it just because we just get bored on Saturday night and we all just meet up and just, buy a couple pizzas, some nachos, and just chill and just crank some jokes, do some parlays. Um, we like it's almost like every month, every like depending on like for example, depending on what type of month. Sometimes they try to smash 2 cards in 1 month, but usually it's once a month. So like for example, 300 was 2 weeks ago, which was like their big pay-per-view. It was their 300th pay-per-view ever.
Mhm.
Well, actually, technically, it's not, but that's a whole nother conversation. But 300 was 2 weeks ago. 301's in 2 weeks. And the thing is, you're paying $15 a month plus the $79, $89 you pay for pay-per-view. And it's just like at that point, you're just better off. It's annoying. You're just better off going to like what we do sometimes. We go to a bar or a casino, sit down, order some wings, and just watch them till like 2 a.m. Yes, you're not doing it from your comfort of your own house, but like that's what we're headed towards with sports media, with all this cord cutting. And it's crazy because I remember when Disney Plus released when we were juniors in college, which would have been back in 2018. Somebody made a joke like, "Oh, what if the person would make so much money if we would combine Disney Plus, Netflix, and Hulu all together and make one big streaming plan, like a bundle." And somebody's like, "Oh, that's just cable, big dog."
Yeah,
That's
literally.
just cable. So it's just like at the end of the day, like, okay, you're just picking and choosing what do you want, but at the same time, you're paying just as much as cable. So it'll be
Yeah.
very interesting what's going to happen with MLB because you see that all these big streaming giants want rights. And I think it's only like the theory that Apple's going to buy the rights is probably what's going to end up happening.
Yeah, I mean, they have that partnership already, and yeah, we've gotten to the point where all of these different streaming platforms, you're probably paying more than you are if you just got cable at this point, and maybe like cord cutting really isn't the move anymore. I mean, I pay a lot. I pay like $75 a month for YouTube TV. When I first got it in college, it was like 45, $50. It's gone up $20 over the last 5 years or so. I mean,
That's inflation, but if you think about it, um, think about the products you consume, and when you think about all the product you consume, you have to remember that there's fees and marketing and just. I just think this whole thing, and then we're getting off track, but I just think like what we're headed towards is some Apple TV BS, and it's so beneficial for streaming websites because what happens is like I only use Apple TV. I watch Ted Lasso, but since it's not marketed that well, Apple TV, like I forget that I even have an Apple TV account until baseball season starts. And I was like, oh, well, I'll pop up big inning tonight. And I was like, oh, I never canceled it. I was like, oh, wow. So I've been losing God knows
yeah,
how much money just having a prescription service. So
yeah.
is what it is. But yeah, that's what we're headed towards. And I mean, that can be a whole nother podcast ranking the broadcast teams
Oh
in
boy,
Major League Baseball. Some of
yeah.
them are great. Some of them are just awful. I can't stand Marquee. I cannot stand Marquee. If it's Marquee, bro, Marquee and chill means I'm doing something else because I can't Marquee and chill.
I really like the Mets broadcast, and that's coming from a Yankee fan. So
I like the Yankees. I like John Kruk a lot. John Kruk just says some outlandish stuff that
he
you just
does. He was telling some crazy story about like a Mexican prison league team yesterday or something on the broadcast. I saw it was pretty funny.
They were talking about today about like I was watching the Padres game before the pod, and he was talking about like getting a car. I think was like driving up to Anaheim tonight instead of just taking the flight and doing like dumb crap. Not like doing dumb crap, but just doing like a story like we should just drive up to Anaheim instead of just taking the jet.
On the Yankees broadcast, I will say Michael Kay obviously great, but they do have some guys on there throughout the course of the week that are so boring. Like they'll put you to sleep. So I mean, it is hit or miss. All these broadcast teams. And I don't know. I think they can really make a big difference on your enjoyment of the sport. And
I want to, now that you bring up that point, I want to give up props for the A's. And I want to. I wish I had this guy's name on Twitter, but screw this guy. He was going off. So I was watching on Friday night. So this is going to be a good segue to start up our topic, our weekend review. I was watching the Friday night Orioles A's game in Baltimore, and so what was going on was Craig Kimbrell blew a save, and the A's broadcast team, the lead commentator is a female, and I think she does a really great job. Obviously, she puts her own spin on things. She's not like a Gus Johnson or a Michael Kay where they're going crazy, when they're happening. And it was a go ahead double in the 10th, and she was letting the play out and doing her thing. And this guy on Twitter is like, "Oh, they need to get her off. They need to switch the whole broadcast team." And I actually enjoy the A's broadcast team.
I like what's his name, Dallas Braden. I think they make a solid combo. Yeah,
combo. But
I like the NBC broadcast package. Just the look of it. Anyways, we are getting off topic. Let's get into
but that's a good segue. Let's talk about the Orioles. The big bad Orioles.
I think this is an interesting conversation because everyone knows all about the Orioles and their crazy lineup, and it is crazy. Now, Jackson Holliday got sent down this weekend because he's been horrible in the big leagues. He got sent back down to AAA. Their lineup is loaded. We know all about it, but they do have an Achilles heel. Bona fide Achilles heel, and that is their closing situation. Obviously, Felix Bautista is out for the season with a torn UCL, got Tommy John surgery, and this man, Craig Kimbrell, they signed him in the offseason to a 1-year deal, and he blew 2 saves against the Oakland Athletics this weekend, Friday night, and then again on Sunday today. And we know about him in the past with the Dodgers, with the Phillies. He blew a huge save against the Diamondbacks in the playoffs last year in that divisional rounds or the championship series. And he is a total Achilles heel for this team. And I think it is the biggest weakness amongst any major contender when I think of like the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Braves, I think, and the Orioles. Like, I think those are kind of the 4 teams that are jockeying for, at least in the regular season, like the best record or, the teams that we view as the World Series contenders this season. I really do think that Baltimore has to address that issue of their closer position because he's just not good enough anymore. He's not 2014 Craig Kimbrell.
His stuff isn't good enough. Like his stuff. So I had him in fantasy 2 years ago, and I followed the Dodgers pretty closely. I still follow them pretty closely. He's a fastball knuckle curve guy, and he likes to paint the edges. And this guy, when his knuckle curve is when he's not locating, which is more often than not, he's so hittable. And the only way he would get guys out is by having an elevated fastball, which, hey, it's a great pitch to have. But if you're a hitter, you're obviously going to, clock into it. I'm just not going to swing and just wait till he throws it in the zone. And that knuckle curve is literally it's a hanging curveball if he's not locating it.
It's a pinata, as you said.
It is a pinata. Like, I'm just like, okay, like every time he'd come in to close, I don't know why he still keeps getting contracts. Like, he has not shown anything in the past 2 years. And I've been on record on this podcast saying that this dude is, and no offense to the guy, like, he's had a great Hall of Fame career, but he's just straight garbage. Like, I don't get why the Orioles just don't give Yanier Cano, let him close. And I know they did that at the end of last season, but I mean, what are you going to lose? It's not like you're throwing him out to throw like 100 innings, 200 innings. He's a closer.
Yeah. And I think they're in a tough spot because there's not going to be a ton of quality closers on the market this year. The biggest, and he's not even a closer anymore, Ryan Presley. He's a name that comes to mind. He could maybe sneak in as closer, but he hasn't been great so far this season. I mean, Chapman, you could go trade Chapman, but do you feel any better about Aroldis Chapman than you do Craig Kimbrell?
Hey, if you have Chapman, you win a World Series. If you trade for him mid-year, you go. I'm telling you, whoever's listening to the podcast, hey, Aroldis Chapman gets traded mid-year. Go put your sports bet ticket, whatever the odds are on that team to win the World Series. They're just guaranteed. Mm-hmm. Now that you bring that up about the trade market, I thought about a hypothetical.
Okay, let's hear it.
Think of closers that have struggled so far this year.
First one that comes to mind is Bednar.
Yeah, but Bednar would never get traded. Bednar would not get traded.
I mean, another one that struggled and he wouldn't get traded. Josh Hader.
Not him. Josh Hader's okay. He pitched great today.
Okay. Sorry, I mean in Mexico City.
What's the problem?
No problem. No problem.
He went
Um,
to my homeland. He did all right, you know.
I don't know what closer is on your mind that's struggling.
I'm thinking the Chicago Cubs. Albert Alzolay
Yeah.
is splitting time with Hector Neris. Hector Neris got the bag this offseason. One thing right now that concerns me about the Cubs is their hitting. I'm not as concerned with their pitching. I think they have enough pitching to do it. But what if you're able to get a decent prospect back for Albert Alzolay?
From Baltimore?
Yeah, one top 10 guy.
Top 10. Yeah, maybe like a late top 10 guy.
Or mid, or a guy that's just blocked off like a Kobe Mayo. I mean, Kobe Mayo maybe
no
too much.
way. That's too much. Yeah,
but it's just like he's blocked. Where's he going to play?
He's a top 100 guy.
But where's he going to play?
Maybe in Enrique Bradfield, but
But then you have too many outfields and you have too many outfielders in the system. But the whole point is just like, let's look at matchmaker. I kind of feel like we're getting into the era of baseball that with the expanded playoffs that everybody's into it. I feel like teams are more likely to make moves MLB for MLB or guys that are right there that are blocked off.
Mm-hmm. We saw it with DL Hall and Joey Ortiz going to Milwaukee for Burns.
Joey Ortiz hit the walk-off on Friday night in that 11-inning thriller versus the Yankees. And then you go look at the Jordan Montgomery for Harrison Bader trade.
Yeah,
like that's just the whole thing. That's what you're gonna see. And I can totally see like the Cubs moving away from him. I mean, Hector Neris has done decent. I mean, we don't know. There's little sample size to tell right now with the closing situations, but I do feel like in regards to relievers, I do feel like there will be a reliever market now. Will there be a bona fide closer that there's a bona fide closer? Remains to be seen.
Does Oakland move Mason Miller? It would be a very Oakland move of them. So I mean, you can make an argument he's the best closer in baseball right now.
That'd be so dumb.
I mean, it would be Oakland. It's Oakland.
But I kind of feel like Oakland would do something stupid they would try to convert him again as a starter through the AJ Puck experience.
And he's
Miami S.
You can't touch that the way he's pitching right now. Like you have to leave him in the closing role. He is electric. He's electric. You want to call down the street in Washington for Kyle Finnegan? That would be he's kind of underrated.
Kyle Finnegan,
many people think of.
The Nationals low key, that's what I want to talk about. The Nationals low key have a 1-2 punch in the back end. That's one of the things I was watching their games this week. One of the nicest 1-2 punch, in the game. Like Kyle Finnegan's very good.
Yeah, and there I would probably categorize the Nationals as pesky this year. They're not gonna make the playoffs. They're not gonna push for the division by anything, but they'll be pesky and they can win 2 out of 3 against a good team like the Braves or the Phillies. You're talking about Hunter Harvey and Kyle Finnegan in the back there?
They have some good arms. I mean, that whole division, you can call up Tanner Scott or maybe a Kyle Finnegan, Hunter Harvey. Like that 1-2 punch is decent. Like people forget, the Nationals are going to be pesky. I really do like what Davey Martinez is not getting enough credit for what he's doing out there.
Yeah, good manager.
He's developing, and I mean, hey, Kyle Finnegan, I think, is like top 5 in saves right now.
And that's with the freaking Nationals.
Yeah, like he's shut down. Like, and I think there's a stat because I was watching the game versus the Dodgers that they were like between those two, they've had like the lowest combined ERA to finish out, or like some ridiculous stat like that. Like you would never imagine that Hunter Harvey and Kyle Finnegan are the two guys that are just they come in and it's literally what's his name? Crap. What was his name? Joaquin Soria and who was the setup man in that year for the Royals? It was Joaquin Soria because they had
Ventura?
Ventura was a starter.
Oh,
he died.
I know.
Joaquin Soria and chat, if you can help me out. I know we have listeners on. It was Joaquin Soria, and because I know it was
2015 Royals.
Yeah, because I know there was they had the guy that went to TCU, but he wasn't the setup guy. I think his name was
figure it out for you.
So he got traded to the Reds for Cueto.
Kelvin Herrera.
That's who it is. Yeah, Calvin
Well,
Herrera.
the closer was Greg Holland.
That's who it is. Yeah, I mixed up. It was Holland and and it was Holland and Calvin Herrera. They were just shut down. Absolute shutdown.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Soria came to the Royals in 2016.
so after, but yeah, I mean,
Wait, Joaquim Soria. Yeah,
yeah, I was
he's a
thinking
starter though. He's a starter,
Joaquim Sawyer. No, he was a closer.
dude. Oh yeah, sorry, I don't know
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm thinking.
Joaquim Sawyer was
They don't have
definitely.
his saves on here. Oh yeah, they do. 2016, he wasn't a closer. He was a reliever, but whatever.
I'm not too concerned about the closer market, to be honest. I think there'll be one. The only thing is you're not gonna. You probably if you won't find a guy that there's gonna be very few guys that are like bona fide closers, and the ones that are bona fide closers are gonna be a high price. Like I think Washington's gonna have a high price for Finnegan.
Yeah,
And
of course. I
it's
mean, that's a luxury position. That's a highly sought after position. It's one of the most important positions in the game. To get a lockdown closer is extremely valuable.
how old is he?
In Kyle Finnegan,
The only thing about it is that
he's 32. 32. Sorry.
what's his contract like? Because like the
Yeah.
only thing that I kind of feel like there's gonna be a pause is that you're gonna get Felix Bautista back. So
Yeah.
then what are you gonna do when you have both of them back? So
That's true.
uh,
They
so I'm-
changed up Spot Track's website, by the way. It's like formatted a little bit differently. He's got 2 years or a year. He's a free agent after 25 season. So
next year. So hey, it would make sense because if Bautista doesn't come back immediately next year, boom, you already have a guy to start the year, and then you can do co-closers. Boom, bingo.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, Baltimore, they got issues. Next team I want to talk about a lot is I'm gonna just talk about this division, AOS. The Seattle Mariners have caught their stride. After last weekend's series with the Rockies that they won, they stayed hot and won 2 out of 3 in Texas. Where I'm very concerned about Texas, that the bats in Texas were just absolutely dead for that series, and that's probably a testament of how strong that rotation is for the Mariners and the bullpen. So I think the Mariners are finally starting to live up. They've gotten hot in the rotation, and they won 2 out of 3 at Arizona. They lost a tough one today, but hey, they're sitting in first place. Last week they weren't even close to first place. They're in first place by half a game. So
yeah, they're in first place. Like you said, half game over Texas. Oakland's in third. LA Angels are in fourth, and then the Astros are in last at 9 and 19. There is that just the two of those guys, Astros and Mariners, just being on the polar opposite ends of the standings. I know it's early, but I saw a stat like teams that have gotten out to as bad of a start as the Astros. There's only like 2 or 3 teams in MLB history that have made the playoffs with as bad of a start as they've gotten off to. Now, again, of course, we do have the expanded playoffs now. It is the Astros. And we talked about them a lot last week. It's kind of more of the same thing. A lot of their guys, though, haven't been hitting now. Like Yordan Alvarez is struggling big time. But back to the Mariners. Did you see that tweet I sent you about George Kirby?
I did, but here I want to go back in because I don't want to talk about Houston because we gave them a lot of time last week. I am an optimist. I've been a Houston optimist for the past couple of weeks. I watched that Cubs series a bit, and I started to be concerned. I saw like they were just losing games that they should be winning. My question, my question is if they go 1 week more of this, do you think that Espada still has a job?
Yeah, because who are you bringing in May?
I don't know, but I just feel like if there's an owner that would do this, that is like that, it would be either Cohen or Crane.
Yeah, I mean, we know Jim Crane likes to take control,
and this
be more of a hands-on guy.
And this is probably the final stand with this roster, with the Tucker, Alvarez, Bregman, Altuve. Bregman's probably getting the bag, probably Chicago or the Tigers, and then you're gonna have to pay Tucker, or Tucker got paid, I think. I can't remember, but I'm just saying you can't keep all of them.
Yeah. No, Kyle Tucker. I don't think he's gotten paid yet. No, he's a free agent after 25. He hasn't signed anything. He's still in arbitration.
So that's my whole thing. It's kind of like,
they're 9-19, man. 9-19.
They're 9-19, and I think if they don't get it together this week, I feel like you're gonna have to do something. You can't just sit on that.
Tough week too. Home versus Cleveland for 3 and home versus Seattle for 3. Then they go to New York, the Bronx, and play the Yankees for 3. That's not an easy series either.
Do you think they survive? Do you think Espada survives?
I do, yes. I think Espada will make it through. I don't know if the team survives. Like if they go under 500 for these next 9 games, 10 games, and they're still 10 games under 500 in mid-May, like it's really hard to dig yourself out of that hole. Now, I will counter that just playing devil's advocate with the fact that I don't think the American League is that deep this year.
No,
so like teams like the Royals and the Tigers and the Red Sox are jockeying for wild card positioning right now. I think Houston would be able to beat those guys out over the course of a 162 game season. So it is early. It's April. It's a really bad April. And they have so many injuries in the like, I'm still not worried about the hitting. If the hitting will come around, it's the pitching injuries that are a concern. But again, I'm not fully writing them off. Am I hitting the panic button? Yeah, it's hit now at this point.
My thing is if they only win 4 out of 9, I think if they don't win more than 4 out of 9 this next 2 weeks, I think the spot is done.
Okay.
4 out of 9. What do you think? Is that a good number? What is it? Or 10?
If they win 4 out of 9, so go under 500.
If they go
5,
he's gone. If they go under 500 next 2-3 series, I don't know. Are they doing 3-3 or 3-4-3 or what
do you mean? It's 3 series, 3 games against Cleveland, 3 games against Seattle, 3 games against New York.
That's what I'm saying. So if they go under 500, I think he's done.
Okay. I mean, those are 3 tough series. So we'll see.
Cleveland's probably, that's a good talk. Cleveland's been one of the hottest teams. Cleveland, I want to talk about Cleveland. Did you watch them against this weekend in Atlanta?
No, but can I just say one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Stat about George Kirby that I sent you.
I read that.
Yeah. So, according to Codify Baseball, they tweeted out. They said, 62 career MLB starts for George Kirby, and he only has 45 career walks. I mean, that is Greg Maddux level concern. He might be in the pitching ninja, Rob Friedman. He said he obviously knows all things pitching. He said he sent out a tweet last night. He said George Kirby is arguably the best command pitcher of all time. I mean, 62 starts, 45 walks, crazy. Seattle, the rotation is nasty. If the hitting just gets going, and we've seen that over the last couple of weeks, they're a good team, and that's why I put them in the World Series. That's why I put them against the World Series, and that's why I have Philly, and that's why I have Seattle. They're both playing good ball right now. They're both playing good ball. So that's my stat. Let's talk about Cleveland, like you said.
Guess what? Brian Woo's coming back, and he looked pretty good. Brian Woo, he looked good, and then Matt Brash is due back soon as well. So there's a lot to like. It's just a matter of they just get the bats. I'm still skeptical. I'm always going to be skeptical about those bats. Like I just don't know. Cleveland, they had a good weekend. They hung around in there with Atlanta. Atlanta's right now the best team in baseball, record wise. They're 19-7. 19-7. They hung around. They lost today in extras. Austin Riley, Defense League Sox, went off today. Austin Riley hit a walk-off, but they split Monday and Friday and Saturday, and today they could have won today. They were up a lot this game. They just got unlucky, but talk about it.
Won the series against Boston earlier in the week. Yeah, I didn't get to see that Atlanta series over the weekend, but I got to see them a little bit against Boston, obviously against the Yankees earlier in the year. They're a good team. I mean, they're playing more like their 2022 selves than their 2023 selves. New manager, Stephen Vogt. I mean, I think the biggest story for them, honestly, is Stephen Kwan getting back to his rookie self. He's hitting 345, but the thing with him is like there's more power now. He's got an 847 OPS, really good, with 3 home runs. Been impressed by him. J-Ram's been fine, 5 home runs.
Well, J-Ram the past 2 weeks has taken it up a notch. If you look at his metrics, he's he's gotten hot, and we all know about Naylor. We talked about Naylor last week. He's still nuclear right now.
Yeah, and the rotation hasn't been great by any stretch of the imagination. It's not a terrifying rotation. Logan Allen, Bybee, Carrasco, Bieber's out for the season. Ben Lively's been getting some run. I don't know, man. They're putting wins together. I mean, that sounds obvious, but they're in first place, and I don't know. They're 2.5 up of Kansas City. I picked them to win the division for a reason. So I think I don't know. I like them a lot. I think they can win this division. They got, like we said, 3 against Houston, and then they play the Angels this week. I don't know. And McKenzie hasn't been great. Like, he's got a 4.91 ERA.
Velo's down.
Yeah, and doesn't really strike guys out, but that's talent. The talent is there with him.
My thing is, do you think they can keep it up pitching wise?
No, that's the concern.
That's the thing, and it's just like I don't see them trading anything at the deadline, and a lot of their prospects are like their stocks are in the ground. Daniel Espino, Chase DeLauntner. They had one more, or Gavin Williams, who just got hurt. So
they're 6th in team ERA, which is surprising. But most of it, if I'm not mistaken, I can pull up the split here, but I'm pretty sure when I break this out, it's going to be mostly just reliever. Yeah. They're 2nd in pen ERA, behind the freaking Seattle Mariners, baby. And then their starter ERA is 11th with a 3.77. I mean, Class A, Hunter Gaddis, Scott Barlow, Nick Sandlin, Kate Smith, those guys have been shoving in their pen. So
I wonder what those numbers would be adjusted without Bieber.
Like, if you had him in the rotation, you mean?
Take out the Bieber numbers, because Bieber was on Cy Young pace.
Yeah.
So I wonder what that would be. What else we got?
He pitched a little bit this year. Yeah. What else we got this week? Twins, they swept the week. They beat the White Sox in LA. Shout out to the White Sox, though. Swept the Rays this weekend.
Hey, the Rays.
Randy Arozarena. Of course, the 1 year I pick him, he decides that he can't hit anything.
The Rays suck, man. The Rays blow. I'm sorry. I'm not tuning into any Rays games. Like, I'm sorry.
Anymore?
Yeah, did I ever tune in? No, they just suck. Like, I just felt like this was going to be their year that they were going to like tail off, and here we are again.
Yeah, I mean, when you're Ben Rortvedt at catcher, Yankee fans know, just not it. Like I said, Randy, he's hitting 154 with a 4.88 OPS, with a 43 OPS plus. He's been abysmal. Only 3 home runs on the season for him. Terrible May. Isaac Paredes has been like one of their few bright spots. But it's grim. Shout out to Ryan Pepio. He's been fine, but
I don't think they win the Central. If you stuff them in the AL Central, I don't think they even win that division.
Probably not. I mean, there's some pretty good talent in the Central, which we'll get into here soon with our award ladders. Braves and Phillies stay hot. Braves swept Miami 1-2-3 against Cleveland. Phillies split 4 at Cincy, and then they swept San Diego in San Diego. The Mets cooled off. They lost 2 of 3 in SF and St. Louis. And the Dodgers, they're getting right. They swept Washington 1-2 of 3 in Toronto. Shohei hit a home run when he was getting booed in his first at-bat back in Toronto, which was kind of cool. I have a note here. Like, that division might just kind of suck.
The Padres are very underwhelming. I've been watching a lot of Padres. They're just a very underwhelming team. I feel that way about the Giants too. I just feel like they just need to nuke it all completely. Like, just nuke the whole Padres. Like, I don't see them doing anything. It's just so underwhelming. Like, Tatis is struggling. Like, he's had improved metrics, but he's just struggling. Just like to hit for average right now. Strikeout percentage is down. Everything's down, but Xander Bogaerts has been an abomination. And they just
have his numbers. 213 with a 565 OPS.
Yeah, but he was hitting under 200. He was hitting under 200 last week, and I was about to cut him from my roster, and then he got a home run, and I was like, all right, well, you get another lease on life. because right now I'm devoid of power on my lineup. But that that division might just be meh. Arizona's dealing with a lot of injury. Merrill Kelly went down with a strain this week, lat strain, and you know
Corbin Carroll's been terrible. 189 with a 531 OPS, only one home run. His numbers, his savant page is all blue, except the whiff rates and like the strikeout rates and the walk rates are good, but he's not hitting the ball right now at all. He hasn't been the same since that shoulder injury back in like August. So kind of worried about the Diamondbacks. I really like what they did this offseason, but they just haven't put it together yet. They're 13-16, only 4.5 back, so plenty of time to turn the thing around.
Shoulder injuries might be the new elbow injuries for hitters.
Yeah.
Go look at guys who've had major shoulder injuries. Cody Bellinger, which we'll talk about later. Cody Bellinger, Drew Jones.
What are the Diamondbacks in OPS? 11th in OPS, so not terrible. But I'm not high on them. There was a little voice in the back of my head when we were doing the preview, like saying, "Well, they made the World Series, but they weren't great. They were the last team in the playoffs, and they kind of just got hot, and maybe they're gonna fall off a little bit over the course of a 162 game season." So far, that's what's happened. I don't know. I'm worried about them. What?
Its lineup does not inflict any fear.
Mm-mm.
Not at all. No fear. But
Snell got hurt, and he's on the injured list now. He was terrible before he hit the IL.
It's every other year for Snell. So next year,
yeah. Man, Yankee land.
Hey, Luis Hill, man. Luis Hill.
Yeah, he's been good.
King of the
split 2 against split 4 against Oakland. Not a fan of that. Now I will say I think Oakland is actually like more respectable than they were last year for sure. I think they're like 11-17. Just went 2-3 in Baltimore, so they're not playing bad ball. And then really got the bats going this weekend in Milwaukee. 15-3 win on Saturday. 15-5 win on Sunday. Aaron Judge is picking things up. Home run on Saturday, and then a home run on Sunday. That lineup. And Rizzo also home run on Saturday, home run on Sunday. That lineup when Judge is going and like one or two of the other guys are going, like Rizzo's going right now and Verdugo's been hitting well. Like it's because in baseball, not 1 through 9 are never going to be hitting all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not how the sport works. But the Yankees started hot because Soto was just on fire and he was carrying the team. And he's cooled off a little bit, but now maybe Judge is picking up some of the slack. Now, again, Soto was great this weekend, but compared to where he started, he's cooled off a little bit. Like Judge, Rizzo, Verdugo, Stanton. I don't like Stanton. I don't think I like him, but I worry about him a little bit. The lineup is scary, is all I'll say. I still worry a little bit about the pitching. Rodon was good this weekend. The pen, like we're running out guys like Dennis Santana. Not a fan. Ferguson hasn't panned out.
I'm not a fan of Dennis Santana that much. Like he's okay. I don't think he's a guy you want to be your setup man. As what's his name? As Aaron Boone's been rolling him out.
No,
not a Luke Weaver guy either. He's your long reliever.
Yeah, never been a Luke Weaver guy.
I mean, it's early, still a lot to say, but it's encouraging that you beat a Milwaukee team that's pesky. I mean, you could have easily swept Milwaukee on Friday if it wasn't for just the ball bouncing the way it did. So,
yep.
Just got good that you won big this weekend because you did not need to run out more bullpen after Friday night's game.
And get the good vibes going. Get the pen rested up into this 4-game set in Baltimore, which is going to be a fun one, Monday through Thursday. All 6:30 Eastern starts, except Thursday's a day game. So
yeah.
You want to get into the award ladders?
Yeah, so I worked on it this morning. I was quite tired. I went to bed very late last night. Again, Luis' sleeping habits are screwed up, but it's for the podcast. We were up very late last night. We woke up very early. Woke up at like 7 a.m. this morning. 3 hours of sleep. So you know how it is.
Oof.
I did the ladder this afternoon, half awake.
I will say I'm aligned to this, so I co-sign. I like these picks.
So I kind of went through this by myself this afternoon, and a lot of the picks are very subjective when it comes to 1-2 right now. And for a lot of these awards, some of them are very clear cut. Others we're gonna have debate. So I'll just go through AL MVP. You give me your breakdown, and then we'll decide if we see. Right now, the number one AL MVP is Bobby Witt Jr. because I kind of feel like if you do remove Bobby Witt Jr. off that lineup, I think Kansas City is in the Ethan Holiday sweepstakes for the draft lottery. Like, he's just nuclear right now. He might be top 5 talent, and I look like an idiot now admitting to you guys because William the other week literally said it, and I was like, I don't know, but yeah, I think he's him.
Let me say his number. Let me say his numbers. He's hitting 308 average with a 896 OPS, 4 home runs, 8 stolen bases. I believe he's the odds-on favorite on DraftKings to win this award right now. Savant Page is all red except the strikeout rates, the walk rates aren't great, chase rates aren't great, but he is the rare blend of like speed, power, average. He does it all. And he plays good defense. He's a 5-tool guy. He's a true 5-tool guy. He's third in WAR in the American League actually right now in Fangraphs, 1.7 Fangraphs WAR, 154 WRC plus. Yeah, he's been great for KC, and you're right. He is honestly, him and Salvi are carrying that team. Salvi's right there behind him, 7 home runs,
Salvi,
350 average. He's been amazing. Like, I don't know where really. He's been great for them this year.
Yeah, he's been carrying. It's very interesting, and this could be a debate for an offseason. Who would you build a team around? I think if you were to poll people around the league, I think it's everybody's picking Bobby Witt as who to pull, as who you build your team around as your starter.
Like, so, young guys,
just anybody in general. I think that's who you're picking.
Anybody in general. I mean,
well, yeah, okay. Sorry. Yeah, because if in general we're gonna put Shohei, but Shohei's an alien. Like, let's eliminate Shohei.
Okay. Yeah, it'd probably be Bobby Witt. I mean,
maybe Ellie. Ellie gets in the combo. I don't think you put Mookie. I don't think you put Mookie because a little bit older and Acuna. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Bobby Witt would be a great choice, man. He's been incredible. Who are the other 2 guys you got on this list?
Juan Soto, single-handedly holding the Yankees up for the first month of the season because, like I said, but I feel like he's never going to get top votes because he is playing with Judge. And, I mean, yes, like, he's playing with Judge. That's a negative detractor, but the positive is he's doing it in New York. So I kind of feel like those 2 things, one's going for, one's going against. But, I mean, he is a talent. And then Gunnar Henderson's just been going off. And so I kind of feel like Baltimore's going to have one of those guys. I went with Adley, but I feel like Gunner's going to be the one carrying the offense this year for Baltimore as it's been for the first month.
He's leading.
Yeah, he's
crazy. He's leading the American League in WAR, Fangraphs wise, 2.0, 302 average, and a 9 homers, which is second in the league behind Trout, 6 stolen bases. Strikes out a lot. And going back to Soto, I mean, Soto's got 7 home runs, but he's one of the rare players that actually walks more than he strikes out. He walks 18% of the time and strikes out only 13% of the time. He has the best eye I've ever seen on a player. And he just knows every inch of that strike zone. 324 average. Yeah, he's been killer. He got 998 OPS.
They struck him out with 3 balls the other night against Oakland.
You saw that was BS.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows that zone better than the umpires do. He does.
Dark horse Mike Trout. I mean, I don't really think he gets in the combo, but maybe if he's midseason traded or something happens. Surprisingly, he's hitting better with outrunners on base. Like, he's just a solo home run king right now.
And it's weird. Like, he's leading the league in home runs right now with 10. But he's having a really bad season in terms of batting average. He's hitting 223. He's a career 299 hitter. Last year he hit 263, only 82 games. His last really full season, which was a long time ago at this point, 2018 was a generally full season. He hit 312. When he was in his prime, he was around 300, if not above. The year he won MVP in 2016, he was 315. 287 in 2014 when he won his first MVP. And then his third MVP season in 2019, he hit 291. So the average is down for him, 223, which is interesting. He's striking out 22% of the time, which isn't great. I don't think is he transitioning into more of a power role than he has been in the past? Kind of a story to watch. Yeah, he's in the running. He's just got to get that average up.
So, any other dark horses that I miss?
I mean, I mentioned Salvador Perez. He's been crazy. I don't think he'd be able to hold off for the full season. Altuve's been great, 336 average, 6 homers for him. He's been great, 1.5 Fangraphs WAR. I mean, Colton Cowser, if he keeps it up. Tyler O'Neill has 9 home runs.
So it's just
other than that, no. Ben Rortvedt actually has been pretty good for the Rays.
Oh my god! All right, we're going to the NL MVP ladder.
No, I'm not saying MVP. I'm just because I said earlier in the pod that he hasn't been he's not good, but he has been playing well for the Rays this year. But yeah, let's go to the NL. I think this one's clear so far.
Mookie Betts, Ellie De La Cruz, and Shohei Ohtani. Shohei is heating up and gotten to hit up on another planet. Everything he's hitting is freaking shotgun shots to the middle of the chest of players. Ellie De La Cruz, if Ellie just decides Ellie De La Cruz is having a Juan Soto-esque season, he just has to stop doing the switch hitting. Just hit right-handed. Like, no need to. He's a way better right-handed hitter. There's no point to develop the left-handed side. He's like clearly an amazing right-handed hitter. And you can see the statistics that he's making Juan Soto swing decisions. And when you look at Juan Soto, he's like the gold standard of making decisions. And then Mookie Betts. I mean, Mookie Betts has made every single team of the week to this so far. So, I mean, might as well.
Do you mean Ellie's he's a lefty? He's better as a lefty. He shouldn't hit right-handed. His numbers against righties when he's hitting left-handed are significantly better. He's got a 1.106.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. I misread the tweet then. So
he's much better as a lefty.
Dark horses: Fernando Tatis Jr. and Ozuna from the Braves. Marcell Ozuna.
Yeah.
So what is your discussion?
Sleeper name Alec Bohm. It's been really good. 354. Ozuna, Trey Turner could get in that mix. 2 homers, 7 stolen bases, 345 average. He's gotten off to a good start. Bryce Terang, 13 stolen bases already. I'm kidding.
You had
Elliott already has 17 stolen bases.
18 stolen bases. He stole 18 today.
Oh my gosh!
When he gets on base, he's literally on third base because he has the green light to get from first to third. Like, you just get on first. Yeah.
So he could, let's say he gets to 20 stolen bases in May. Is he gonna have 80 stolen bases in the whole season?
Probably.
Oh my god! Is he gonna get 20 stolen bases he's the MVP if he does that. If he has 7 home runs, so let's say he hits 30 bombs and 80 stolen bases, he's the MVP.
Season.
He's the MVP.
Or he can go 40-80 if you really want to go crazy. I still think he can go 40-80. I know his pace is going to have to go up, but the problem is there's a guy in LA playing right now out of his mind.
Yeah,
it's gonna be like last year where like you could theoretically you can give it to Mookie Betts and to Acuna, but then Acuna had a season out of the mind. Like Mookie,
his WAR in Fangraphs is a full point above everybody else. He's at 2.7 and Ohtani's at 1.7. Ellie's at 1.5. He is that good.
He was the other night. I think it was Kyle Harrison or Logan Webb, where he literally like dictated the at bat. Like, he literally dictated what pitches are going to get thrown. And like, it was like a 3-2 count. And I was like, all right, I know I'm going to get fastball, so I'll just wait and hit the fastball in the zone and boom. Freaking
must-see TV.
Must-see TV. But what do we think about that? Do we agree?
Yeah, like I said, I'm aligned with these picks. I would have it in that order probably too.
So
I would say, sorry, if Ohtani was pitching this year, you'd probably have to throw him above Mookie because he's putting up borderline MVP numbers at at hitting, and if he was pitching, like, I mean, it's like hard to argue against that. But anyway, keep going.
AL Rookie of the Year. This is probably the hardest one to tell because I kind of feel like there's a lot of ambiguity to this point. Right now, Colton Cowser would be it for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and after that, it's just trying to pick between crap right now, dog water. Wyatt Langford's looked all right, but Colton Cowser's done a way better job, and there's not even the third guy in contention. And the dark horse for me is a rookie that hasn't been up. So maybe a Junior Caminero from the Rays comes up mid-year, turns the season around for them. I don't know. Maybe the Orioles pump out another, guy that looks like he goes to church on Sundays. And
Jason Dominguez gets called up or gets healthy and just.
They're saying Jason's will be back in May, so we're very soon for that. And it'll be very interesting what the Yankees do because you'll have Verdugo, Grisham, Judge, and Stanton, and Soto. So who's not going to be on the roster after that?
It'd be Grisham. I think he would get the cut, and I really do think Jason could push for Giancarlo's playing time at DH.
You wouldn't keep Grisham for defensive purposes?
It's a cutthroat business.
It is. And I think the one position that the Yankees do need to upgrade is third base because you know how Yankee language when they tell you, oh, he'll be back in a week means like a month.
Yeah. And I'm not a big DJ guy. Rookie of the Year odds, they got Cowser first, Evan Carter second. He's been terrible. Langford third. Langford will get it going.
Why is our league picking up crap? Like I literally looked at Evan Carter get picked up by one of our league mates, and I'm like what's the logic? Like I've seen the metrics. Like what metric are you reading that I'm not looking at? I'm looking at ISO. I'm looking at all the metrics, and his plate discipline's been garbage. He was literally regarded for his plate discipline, and he's striking out and not getting on base. Like, yeah, he'll draw a couple walks, but he's just been bad.
213 average, 311 OBP, which isn't bad. 772 OPS. He hasn't been good. 5 homers, though.
Yeah, but why are we picking him up? Why is he rostered? Why is he rostered, League? Come on.
National League Rookie of the Year, I think, is a little more.
Let's debate. Let's debate because I feel like this is the one we'll have a debate with, and I think it's a 3-way race right now with a possible fourth. I have Shota Imanaga. He pitched great on Friday night against the Red Sox. They won his start. Yamamoto, we do have to give him his flowers. I did read an article about him. Did you read the article I sent you?
No, I didn't read it.
Yeah, I think you would really enjoy it. And then Jared Jones is 3.
Well, what did the article say?
So pretty much, I mean, when you throw a fastball, you want to throw it high. A high fastball, that's a pitch that hitters chase. The writer was pretty much saying, why is Yamamoto throwing fastballs low? Those are very hittable pitches. Well, supposedly they're throwing a high amount low because when you tunnel his splitter, it comes out in the same, pitch tunnel. So the hitter's going to see, oh, this is a fastball. I'm going to swing fast, but when it's just it's a split. And the problem is when he has these rough starts, it's issues with command that fastball, low fastball leaks up in the middle of the zone.
Okay.
And so
yeah, that makes sense.
That's what we're saying. And he's saying that throwing this high fastball, just mechanically how he throws the ball, he throws it at Aaron Nola's. I know we're getting a lot techie, but he throws it like Aaron Nola's release, that it makes it really difficult for him to get the ball up. And so when he gets the ball up, he's forcing a lot and it's causing mistakes as well in the zone. So it's causing hitters to hop on it. Yeah, it's very interesting. So I think it's between those 3. Michael Busch is my dark horse right now. But Shota's been great. The pitching whisperer has been leading the Cubs, and you can make an argument that if we had a healthy Justin Steele and there was a playoff game, I think he would start over Justin Steele.
Yeah, I mean, Steele's been hurt with that hammy.
But I'm saying it's healthy.
Been shoving.
If
I know, but right now in current form and just this season, yeah, I would go Shota for sure. I think you got to shout out Jared Jones. He's been great for Pittsburgh this year.
Rough start today.
Traded him.
Yeah.
I do think they're like just being Pittsburgh, they might limit his innings, and that's why I traded him. I think he might be like a really good April May guy, and then maybe get sent down for innings or
Just time
just
manipulation.
start to struggle. He's kind of like basically a fastball slider, high velo guy, and a lot of swing and miss. People will adjust, I think, once there's more and more tape on him.
Garrett Crochet-esque. That's the same thing
Kind
Garrett
of.
Crochet is, and they've caught on to him.
But he's only 22, and he was one of their top prospects. So I still think long term, great piece for Pittsburgh.
Do you think we could see a split between Yamamoto and Imanaga?
Like a shared
Rookie of the
award?
Year? Yeah.
That would be cool.
Because I feel I'm anti Yamamoto, but I can see the world that he can get theoretically better in a way, and both could be number ones for the playoffs.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, possible.
I will say with the one other pitcher that the Dodgers have right now that we can get into the Cy Young talk.
Let's go.
Yamamoto might not go. Tyler Glasnow is the Cy Young in the National League right now.
Oh, he's running away with it. The next guy I have is Zach Wheeler. I think the Philadelphia pitching staff has been elite. They probably have had the best pitching staff in the majors this year.
I was actually going to bring that up on this podcast. I mean, they might have the best pitching staff. Them in Seattle, which is coincidentally enough, the teams that I picked in the World Series. Mm-hmm. Ranger Suarez. I mean, how about Ranger Suarez?
Hey, I picked him up because I know somebody in our league would have picked him up immediately. I know a Philly fan in our league, and I can't let him have him. So I was just like, got to get on that quick. But that whole staff between Jeff Hoffman has pitched great. Mm-hmm. They have Alvarado at the end of games. I mean, Alvarado's very underrated as a closer.
I agree.
So, I mean, Zach Wheeler's doing great, but then the way Glasnow's pitching, and, he has that Dodger development behind him. I think it's the biggest question with him would be, can he stay healthy? Because he is known to do that. Can he stay healthy? And so it's our list. We have Glasnow, Wheeler, Logan Webb's at third, and then my two dark horses are Ranger Suarez and Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray has been pitching post hamstring injury. He's been worth the money that the Cardinals gave him. He's been that base level pitcher for the Cardinals. Remains to be seen, but hey, right now it looks like a very good investment for the Cards. What is your thoughts?
Totally agree. He is the example of a true professional on the pitching side, in my opinion.
He knows how to pitch. That's what I'm saying. He gets out. He's not a big strikeout guy, but he knows how to pitch. Like, he knows how to get out. Like
Lopez.
Yeah, Ronaldo Lopez. He's been pitching great
good for the Braves. Yeah. Dylan Cease, actually, I've liked what I've seen from him in San Diego. He's been good.
Yeah, Dylan.
Not like Cy Young caliber, but I mean, he's sixth in WAR amongst starting pitchers in the National League.
He had a tough start Saturday night versus Suarez. Command was a little bit off, but other than that, he's been pitching great. He's probably been the best pitcher in that staff by far. My only thing, I feel like the NL compared to the AL, which we'll talk right now, I feel like the NL has had a lot of really good starting pitchers. Like, I feel like those starting pitchers have done well. Freddie Peralta, I think, is very underrated. He's pitched really well. Freddie Peralta, Sonny Gray, Glasnow, Webb. We're missing some.
Martin Perez has like randomly been good for Pittsburgh this year.
We're also missing guys like, not the Mets, but oh my God, I'm blanking.
Christopher Sanchez, Imanaga, Hunter Green's been good. Trevor Williams.
Yeah.
Kind
of feel like
Jordan Hicks.
Yeah, that's a bit good one. I kind of feel like all the names in the NL have proven like they've been as advertised. I think the AL has been not as advertised. Those guys.
Yeah, so you have on the AL Cy Young ladder, you got Tarek Skubal, Corbin Burns, and Logan Gilbert with honorable mention / dark horses of Reed Detmers and Grayson Rodriguez. I would probably throw Cutter Crawford, crazy enough, into that mix. Tanner Houck. Like, Boston's been really good. They're starting pitching. Who else? Like
Colt
Seth
Wiggins.
Lugo.
You can throw in Cole,
Yeah.
but I just kind of feel like we're looking at the elite of the elite guys, and I feel like these guys, Tariq Skubal and Corbin Burns, have been uttermost elite. I think Grayson can make that run though. If there's a guy that I would sprinkle money or sprinkle a little bit of cash, it'd be Grayson. I feel like he could be one of those guys that just takes a huge leap and just goes nuclear for the next couple months and makes a run at it.
I have breaking news.
What?
From Jeff Passan. He tweeted out at 6:47 my time Central. The MLB uniform fiasco of this spring is finally being addressed, according to an MLBPA memo obtained by ESPN. Nike was innovating something that didn't need to be innovated. Details of the coming changes, timing, free and unlocked at ESPN. So it looks like the uniforms are getting fixed finally. Awesome. That's great news.
Will it be for consumer use or will this just be for the players?
No. It's a good question. I don't know. If I had to guess, unfortunately, I think it would probably be just for the players.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I feel about the AL. I think Scooball's running away with it. I think that the Cy Youngs have been really easy to say because I kind of feel like those two guys have just been running away with it.
Yeah, and that's what happened with Cole last year. I feel like usually the Cy Youngs are, and these awards kind of in general usually are pretty obvious by the end of the season. So now is still the time, I think, you can get some good odds on dudes.
Let's go through some injuries quickly. We've had you guys here for an hour, 6 minutes. We're not going to bore you. Cat Kimbrell left today's game with an apparent injury, probably just him not pitching well. Tristan Casas tore his cartilage in his left rib cage, not a fractured rib as last reported. So they're not saying it is as bad as it used to be. Bellinger hit the 10-day IL with a rib fracture. We saw Pete Crow Armstrong hit his major league debut home run on Thursday. And so players tend to miss 50 days on average. He ran into the wall in Wrigley. Do you think we should get padded walls in Wrigley? I say no.
I think it's ridiculous that their walls are still brick. Like, obviously it's great, the Ivy, but you're running full force into a wall. Now, MLB has a rule where all the walls have to be padded, but Wrigley Field got grandfathered into said rule. And I don't know, man, like, full force. He wasn't even running full force. Like, if you go watch the video of when he got injured, he barely hit it, and he fractured a rib.
You should have made a business decision. You know, like in football, when that DB is coming out to try for that lineman's pulling, that guard's pulling, and that corner has to make a business decision, or you see that 250-pound running back coming full steam, you're like, all right, I'll make an effort and just,
I mean, I don't know. I think padding and then Ivy over it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Jesus Luzardo's on the IL. Great. Another pitcher into the graveyard. Brooks Lee herniated his disc in his back, 2 to 3 month rehab plan. That's tough. I just had that in there. He's still in the minor leagues, but Correa's been hurt, and he was kind of a guy I was looking forward to and excited for in that Twins youth movement in that infield, and all those guys are hurt now. Correa might be coming back this week, but Correa, Royce Lewis, and Brooks Lee all hurt. And traded Jorge Polanco. They had a good week, though. So they did. We'll talk about that later. Zach Geloff, 10-day IL with the strained left oblique. Oakland probably is rejoicing at their best players out. Blake Snell, 15-day IL, left adductor strain, probably because he wasn't ramped up correctly and just, it was bad. It was bad. Pete Fairbanks, 15-day IL. Sadly, we won't get to see his post games. I suck, and I didn't pitch well.
Yeah.
If you guys have time, go look him up. He's hilarious. Now bet the glory, bet of the week. I'll give you the update. So I finally hit the W this week. Kansas City came back and won the series this week versus Toronto.
They lost the first 2 and then won 3 straight.
I'm telling you, they got lucky. And William took the L with San Diego this weekend. Philly swept their asses. Clean sweep.
Yeah, I was completely wrong on that. Philly's hot right now. So
the Phillies might be one of the hotter teams in baseball. So William, go ahead. What do you got this week? What's your bet?
So I'm between two. I'm going to decide what I want to do for the graphic that I post tomorrow. But the first one I have is Mariners to win the series against the Braves. I'm going to continue with this West Coast thing. This is a really fun series. The Braves are traveling west from Atlanta tonight. They start the series tomorrow. Monday, Miller versus Fried. Tuesday, Castillo versus Lopez. And Wednesday, Emerson Hancock versus Chris Sale. I think Seattle has the pitching advantage in this series, but Fried and Lopez have been great. But Castillo and Miller, and then Hancock against Sale. I think Seattle has the travel advantage. I think they have the pitching advantage. They're hot. Both of these teams are really hot right now, so that's why it's going to be a fun series. So I like Seattle to win. I also like Oakland to win the series against Miami. Oakland is at home all weekend. Oh, and also, I forgot to mention Seattle was at home this weekend, so they're staying home. Oakland to win the series against Miami. Miami, that's later in the week series. Miami's at home against Colorado Thursday afternoon, and then they have to fly all the way across the country to play Oakland Friday night. Oakland obviously is not terrible, and Miami is probably the worst team in the big leagues. And Oakland is staying at home. Oakland is staying at home for that week for that series. So I like that advantage to Oakland. And they also have JP Sears and Paul Blackburn going in that series. And Paul Blackburn and JP Sears pitched really well against the Yankees. Blackburn had that one bad first inning and then really settled down. And JP Sears shut the Yankees down for the entire 6 innings he pitched. So give me Oakland over Miami.
Hey, they got Ryan Weathers coming up. Don't relax. Let's hold our horses.
Yeah, we have a colleague that played Little League with Ryan Weathers.
Did you see how he played the other day?
No,
he struck out 10. Yeah, one of the few good Miami starts. So for me, I'm down between two. I'm down between Houston and Cleveland and San Francisco and Boston. I'm gonna go ahead and hop on this whole Houston bandwagon this week, and I'm taking Houston over Cleveland this week. They traveled back from Mexico. They won the series versus the Rockies. They pitched right. Bullpen didn't go nuts this weekend. They get a day rest flying from Mexico City back to Houston. Cleveland's on the road flying from Atlanta. Played a really tough series. And I trust Houston's bats to get it going. They face, what's his name? Where's Cleveland? I just saw it. They face Carlos Carrasco, Tristan McKenzie, and Logan Allen. While Houston is going to put up Hunter Brown, Justin Verlander, and to be determined on Thursday. So give me Houston at home. I like that pick on the upset.
Right, that's a good pick. You're riding their comeback.
The other one would have been San Francisco versus Boston, and I was going to say San Francisco, but at the same time, I don't think that's that really much of an upset. San Francisco over Boston.
And you kind of just talked yourself into that Houston series.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm taking Houston. I feel like Houston gets right this week at home. So we'll review last week's series. So with our fun series last week, we had Philadelphia and Cincinnati. They split. Milwaukee and Pittsburgh split. Chicago and Boston's going on right now. Right now, it's a split right now. We're waiting on game 3 to play.
17-0 Boston on Saturday.
Right now, Texas is up versus Cincinnati. They still have one more to play tomorrow. And then Pittsburgh versus San Francisco. San Francisco won the series. The house might be on fire, which we talked about. St. Louis beat Arizona. St. Louis gains themselves more on lease on life. And then Chicago beat Houston, as we spoke earlier. And then in our competitive series, we had Kansas City beat Toronto. Seattle beat Texas. We talked about that earlier. Dodgers won 2 out of 3 in Toronto. Atlanta won 2 out of 3 at home versus Cleveland. New York won 2 out of 3 versus Milwaukee. And then Philadelphia swept this weekend. So then
I can do this.
Yeah, go ahead. And then we'll do team of the week and get you all out of here.
Oh, man, we still have team of the week.
Yeah.
Competitive series. So these are the series that we think are potential playoff series, division chase series. Yankees at Baltimore Monday through Thursday. Mentioned that. Atlanta at Seattle Monday through Wednesday. Mentioned that. Milwaukee at Chicago Friday through Sunday.
Good one.
Yeah.
You going?
It's a good division race. And Atlanta against the Dodgers next weekend. That's a really fun one. Alarm series. I got Seattle at Houston. Seattle really needs to get hot in this division here. And then Chicago White Sox at St. Louis. Just think St. Louis, they're under 500. They've actually gotten good pitching performances from Sonny Gray and Lance Lynn this year, but they're still underwhelming offensively. So I got them. Paul Goldschmidt's been terrible. Fun series. Cincy at San Diego Monday through Wednesday. LAD, Los Angeles Dodgers at Arizona Monday through Wednesday. And then Baltimore at Cincy Friday through Sunday. And Miami at Oakland Friday through Sunday if you're a sicko like me and you like watching Oakland. late at night on the weekends.
I do as well. And by the way, Texas won the series.
Yeah, they don't play tomorrow.
No, yeah, they don't play tomorrow. I screwed up. I read something wrong on my chart. And then Houston has to get hot. So that alarm series is big for Houston.
Yes.
Apple TV game. Again, Apple TV game has laid a stinker. It is Blue Jays at Nationals. And then Giants at Phillies.
Yeah, not great.
Not great.
Not bad, not great.
I mean, the Giants aren't fun to watch, and the Nationals are just pesky. Team of the week will run through. What's up?
Sunday Night Baseball next weekend is, I would have to guess, Dodgers Braves. Oh, Philly San Francisco over Dodgers Braves.
Oh my God, bro. ESPN, bro.
This is why
you lose viewers.
Yeah. Why is it San Francisco Philly over LA Atlanta? Just what are we doing? Like, this is why baseball struggles to get ratings on ESPN. Like, it's so obvious. I mean, I could have told you before the season that this was a good series. Whatever. Team of the week.
Ryan Jeffers from Minnesota, the catcher. Honorable mention, Will Smith. Big week for Ryan Jeffers. Freddie Freeman hit a home run today in his homecoming to Canada. Honorable mention, Carlos Santana from Minnesota. Second base, Luis Reyes from Miami. He's heating up. Edward Julian from Minnesota, honorable mention. Alec Boehm at third base for Philly. Mookie at short for the Dodgers. Outfield is Jacob Young from the Nationals, Mark Canha from the Tigers, and Joe Adele from the Angels. Honorable mentions go to Mike Tauchman, Brenton Doyle, and Taylor O'Neill.
Shout out Brenton Doyle, baby. Pick them up in fantasy.
Yeah. And then Gunnar Henderson's the utility guy. Pitchers of the week, Skubal, Logan Webb, Tyler Glasnow, Max Fried are honorable mentions, last two. Relievers of the week are Mason Miller, just absolutely throwing gas. Jeff Hoffman for Philly also gets the second nod. And Neil De Los Santos from San Diego gets your honorable mention for your reliever of the week. And that is
boom. That is it. That is another week of ball in the books. We will have our team of the month graphic be posted to our Instagram at Locked In Sports Pod this week. So stay tuned for that. Both of us will be dropping full teams.
So it'll be interesting. There'll be some debate next week. We'll do some conclusions. Make sure you stay tuned on the socials, on X at Locked In Sports Pod 0, on Instagram Locked In Sports Pod, YouTube Locked In Sports Pod. Make sure you watch some baseball. Be safe. Catch other sports such as we have basketball and NBA playoffs are going on right now. And then the NFL draft just finished. I don't know if we have any other plans for that, but I think we have something in the works for another NFL pod coming soon.
Should we? Yes. All right. We'll talk. I think maybe a Monday pod next week because I'm traveling Sunday.
That is true. Yeah. So next week, so listeners, just a quick reminder, there will be no Sunday podcast next week. William will be out. Will not be attending, and I don't know when I'm coming home Sunday because I will be attending. As of now, I will be going to race day F1 Miami, and I just know that it's going to be a mess to get home from.
Yeah, and so probably Monday night next week will be better for us.
Maybe even Tuesday, like Monday, likely if things go left. Tuesday.
Okay. So all right. So stay tuned. Keep it locked as always. Thank you for listening this week. A lot of fun, Luis. Thanks for coming on again, and we'll catch you guys next week. Peace out.